Hey there, welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As the best-selling author of Product Marketing Wisdom, I've always found that real-world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why on this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans, as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action-packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real-world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro, Manoj Gunti. Manoj is a marketing leader at Google Cloud, where he leads product marketing for the data and AI product portfolio. With over 13 years of B2B marketing experience across startups and big tech, he specializes in messaging frameworks, go-to-market strategy, and product-led growth. At Google, Manoj has helped drive significant growth for its analytics products, including major pipeline-generating campaigns, product-led growth gains, analyst relation wins, and partner ecosystem programs. He previously held product marketing roles at InfoStretch and Sonata Software after starting his career at Tata Consultancy Services in Bengaluru, India. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Manoj Gunti. Manoj, welcome to the show.
Thanks for the intro, Nathan. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for having me. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the amazing work that you are doing by bringing so many real-world marketing case studies to life. I think the massive knowledge base that you are helping us build is really, really valuable for the marketing community. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'm super excited, Manoj. Today, we're going to be talking about a situation from your experience. And Manoj, we'll use the ABC framework. So we'll talk about the antecedents, the prior challenges. We'll talk about the behaviors, the actions that you took, and we'll talk about the conclusion, how things played out. So with that, pick a situation from your experience and tell us what were the antecedents, what were the prior challenges?
Sure. Today, I wanted to share a story of how product and partner marketing teams work together hand in hand to create something truly uniquely differentiating. So a few years ago, we wanted to double down on our partner ecosystem strategy. We had a few partner programs for years, which we wanted to surface externally and highlight our investment plans. But the challenge was that we were not the first ones to talk about partner marketing and marketing ecosystems in this space. Most data platform vendors already had solid partner programs. Some of them had even 2 or even 3-year head start. So we took a step back to define what exactly we are solving for. We interviewed our top customers. We asked them, okay, what does partner strategy really mean to them? And how would they love to see vendors like us operate in an ecosystem for innovation? And the answer was very simple. Because enterprises were generating more data than ever before, and this is across various systems, right? They needed more interoperability. Their data was in silos, and they just wanted to break the walls of data. But the challenge that I really faced was that, most vendors at that time were following a standard playbook for launching partner programs. It's like one company at the center, and all the other companies or all the other platforms are building integrations with them. So this bidirectional strategy was working great for the vendor, but it was not addressing the customer silos problem in an efficient way. So we understood the real problem was not about how do we launch a partner program. It was more about how can we work together to solve this particular customer problem, and there was no really a solid playbook for that.
Wow. I love that. You have this powerful challenge ahead of you. And what's interesting, Manoj, is I think we'll find a lot of people in the audience may be struggling with a very similar challenge. So now, Manoj, thank you for telling us about the antecedents. Now let's talk about the behavior. So tell us, how did this guide the actions that you took?
Yeah, it became very obvious to us that, just by building a bidirectional partner program, we are not going to solve customer problems. So what we did is we brought multiple platform vendors together to form an open alliance. The members of the alliance, they all committed to building capabilities on open standards for data interoperability. But the GTM strategy for something like this is where it gets interesting, right? Maybe I can just break it down into three simple steps to talk about it. The first step was messaging. Like, how do we write value proposition and messaging that's simultaneously true for multiple companies? And we got to keep in mind that some of these companies may have competing interests for certain workloads, right? So the answer was to anchor everything on the customer problem and not to talk about each product capability and the members on their interests and their product features. So we built the entire messaging framework for the alliance around data portability and open standards. These were the things that every company had shared interest in solving for. So it made it a little easy for us to drive the messaging around that. And having the messaging around the customer problem completely reframed the conversation for us from like, here is what we offer and here is what our partners offer, to like, here is the problem that the industry is facing and here is how we are all coming together collectively trying to fix it. And by moving up the value proposition above the product details, it indirectly sort of addressed the competing interests of the alliance members. So that was messaging and how we solved for it. The second step of the strategy was coordination. Bilateral co-marketing programs with two companies, two legal teams, two comms teams, two marketing teams with different demand gen programs coming together and working in synergy itself is very, very hard. And imagine doing something like that for multiple companies, all have to be timed towards a single launch event, right? So that was very hard. And instead of taking a very sequenced standard approach, what we did was we first nailed down the mission and mission around like the open standards and data interoperability, etc. We solidified it. And then we started recruiting members around that mission. And that significantly reduced the cycle times. So last thing that I want to talk about is how we approach the credibility factor, right? This is an alliance and we formed the alliance with the help of like other companies around it. But there was always a risk that this could be perceived as a vendor program and just dressed up like an industry initiative. That was a big risk that we were taking. So we made the deliberate structural choice to lead with all the partner voices in our public materials, even before talking about our messaging. So we led with, how partner products and how the open standards that everyone in the alliance is building. And then we talked about how we are supporting this initiative. We framed ourselves in one way as the member of the alliance rather than positioning as, okay, we are the organizers of the alliance, right? So that changed the narrative a little bit. But when we look at the larger scheme of things, it was always the right thing to do. And it was the only way to establish genuine neutrality.
Wow, I love that. See, establishing genuine neutrality, that is something that is so important. Many people can learn from that, but we're not done yet. So now I think you have us in suspense. So now we can't wait. So bring it home, Manoj. Tell us about the conclusion. So how did the situation play out for you?
Yeah, the launch itself was very well received by the analyst community. The fact that, all the alliance members are building around open standards, solving for a particular customer problem, it was in general very well appreciated by the analysts. And several industry publications also covered the alliance as something that the market is doing to solve a particular problem, but not something that one vendor is doing, to create a partner. That kind of validated our positioning. And we also noticed that within a few months of the launch, two other vendors launched their own version of cross-vendor interoperability initiatives that sort of validated the product market fit. But as committed to the mission of the alliance, the members have delivered several capabilities over the last few years. And these capabilities today are helping hundreds of customers across the world to break data silos. From a marketing perspective, overall, the lesson for me was you're launching something and you know that the traditional playbook for this is going to definitely fail. So how do you take that as a positioning opportunity, but not as a threat? I think GTM's job is to double down the problem everyone is experiencing and then make it then make your company as the one that is credibly trying to fix it, and take other platforms and other vendors along with you to solve an industry problem.
Amazing. Manoj, thank you so much. I think we learned so much from that case study. Now, Manoj, if people wanted to learn more about you, where can they do that and find out what's next for you?
Yes, if anyone wants to learn more about this particular program that we launch, I'm happy to answer any questions or just connect with people in general. LinkedIn will be the best channel.
Excellent. So folks, there you have it. Please reach out to Manoj for more insights. And for even more insights, check out my book, Product Marketing Wisdom, at productmarketingwisdom.com. And see you next time on Product Marketing Maestros.
Thank you, Nitin. Thanks for having me.